So far, we have covered the essential fundamentals of Python. Before I conclude this course, let's write some basic Python programs to review everything we have learned and apply it to the real world use cases. So the first program I want to write is to create the to-do list application. And of course, this will be the console based application. So this to-do application will have various functions. So that's why I'm going to create a new file for writing this program. So I'll create a new file and I'll say to do underscore list.py. Okay, to do list.py. So on the top of this page, I'm going to say to do list application. Okay, so we don't have any databases, so that's why I'm going to store the data or the task in the Python list only. Okay, so for that I'm going to create a task is equal to an empty list. Okay, so I'll be using this list to store the data or to store the task, and also if we want to remove the task, we will remove it from this Python list. Okay, so the way this program will work is I will ask the user to enter the choice to add the task, remove the task, and show the task and exit from the program. Okay, so it will be like enter 1 to add the task, enter 2 to remove the task, and so on. Okay, so for that we need some functions. Okay, for example, we need a function to show the task from this list and to add the new task to this list and remove the task from this list. All right, so first of all I'm going to create a function to add the task, add task. Okay, so adding the task will be very easy. I will ask the user to enter the task. Okay, so I'll say input enter the task, enter the task. Okay, I'll put a colon and give one space. All right, so whenever the user enters the task, I will say tasks dot append. Okay, you have used this append, right? So this append is used to add the or append the task or data into the list. Okay, so I will add task into this task list. Perfect. So now I will print. Once adding is done, I will say inside the f string task, inside a single quotation I will write whatever task he has written, right? For example, go to shop or learn Python or anything will be printed here. The task added successfully. Okay, the task added successfully. All right, so this is one function to add the task, right? Okay, so before I go ahead and write more functions to for showing and removing the task, I will create the function to I will create the main function. Okay, so this main function will run first and give the option to the user. Okay, so in the main function I will say print, I'll say options. Okay, so first I'm going to show the options to the user to select the option, right? So one will be add task, and I'll give two spaces here. Two will be remove the task, again two spaces. Third will be show task, again two spaces I'll give, and then fourth will be exit. Okay, so this is just for the user instructions. Okay, so choice is equal to, I'm going to take the input from the user. Okay, so let's say he want to write 1. For example, he want to add the task, then he will write 1. Okay, so that will be enter your choice. Okay, enter your choice, and when he add any number 1 2 3 4, then it will be stored inside the choice. Okay, now I'll add a if condition. If choice is equal to 1, and I will run the add task function. Okay, 1. If the user has entered the option 1, then I will run the add task function, and this add task function will do all this stuff, right? So this is just to call the add task function. And after that, I'll put elif. So what if the user enters number 2, right? So I'll say choice is equal to number 2. Then I will say remove task. Remove task. Okay, remove task. Just call this. Okay, right now we don't have any function called remove task, right? So that's why we are getting this underline here. So that says that this function remove task does not exist. Okay, and also I will say elif choice is equal to 3. Then I will say show tasks. Show task. Okay, before I go ahead, I will first create these two functions. Define a remove tasks. Okay, remove task. For now, I'm going to simply return. Okay, I just don't want to get any error. So that's why I'm just writing return here. Okay, so this means the function exists and this function is not doing anything. Okay, so I'm just creating the function. Again, I'll say show tasks, and again I will say return. Okay, so and you notice here I'm giving 2 line breaks for each of these functions. Okay, so that's actually a good practice. Always give minimum 2 spaces or 2 line breaks between the functions. All right, so now we are not getting any warning here. Okay, in the in the else case, I want to say I mean not else, I just want to do something here. What if the user enters 4, right? Choice is equal to 4. Okay, so what if the user enters the choice 4? So if this is the case, I will say exiting to do list by. Okay, so you see in the else, so after all these if, elif, then I'm going to go to the last block, that is what if he don't enter any of these numbers or choices and enter a different number, then I will simply say invalid choice. Okay, invalid choice, try again. Okay, now a few things to notice here. If the user enters 1, the add task function will run and the add task is doing all this thing. Okay, taking the task name and putting it inside the task list. Okay, and then printing this message. And if the user chooses 2, then the remove task will run, and if the user chooses 3, the show task will run, and if the user chooses 4, he will get the print saying exiting to-do list by. But this is just a print statement. Okay, this is just a print statement. However, this function is going to exit all the time. I will show you what I mean. Let's try to run this. Okay, we have this main function. We will simply call this main function. Just come out of all the all these blocks and just run main. Okay, so Python 3 to-do list.py. Okay, so it is asking me options. Choose 1 to add task, 2 to remove, 3 to show task, and 4 to exit. Okay, so I will add 1. Okay, so as soon as I enter 1, it is asking me enter the task, because this function is being called and this function is doing this operations like taking the task and appending it to the task list. I will say learn Python, and you see task learn Python added successfully. Now the problem here is, as soon as our program has added one task to the list, it is not asking other operations to do, right? So I don't want this to exit automatically. I just want, if you add some task, it should still be asking me with these options, because I will add one or two or three tasks, and still I want to show the task, right? So I should be able to write three. I don't want to run it all the time. Okay, so that's why we need to use the let me you see, even if I say 4, it is going to say exiting to do list by, right? But this should not be exited like this. It should be exited with the break statement. Okay, let me clear it out. See, I want this to be keep showing me this this options. Okay, so for that reason, what I will do is I will simply say while true. Okay, I will use the while loop here. Okay, while loop. So until and unless I break from this loop, keep asking these questions, or keep showing me this options. Okay, so all these things should go inside this while loop. Select all this and press tab. Press tab. Okay, so that's why I'm using while loop here. Okay, now if you go and say run your program, and options add task is one, so I'll say learn Python, and you see learn Python added successfully. Okay, so it is still asking me the questions. If you want to do some, if you want to add some more task, or if you want to remove the task, or show the task, or exit, right? So see, everything looks attached. So what I'll do is I'll simply say one line break. Okay, I'll exit and run again. Add task, learn Python. Okay, now it looks good. Okay, learn Python and task has been added successfully. And again, if I want to show what are the tasks that are available inside this list. Okay, so we have added something inside this list, right? Task list. Now I want to write 3 and show all the task, right? So if I write 3 here, it is not showing me anything because show task is not doing anything, right? So now we will go ahead and write, make the show task. So in the show task, what I want to do is I want to first check if there is any task in the task list. Okay, if not task, if there is no task in the task list, I'm going to say print one line break. I'll put no tasks in the list. Okay, no task in the list. Now in the else case, if there is something inside the task list, then what I'll do, I'll simply say I'll put one line break, and I'll say here is your to-do list. Here is your to-do list. Okay, and inside the to-do list, I will say for task in tasks, for task in tasks, I will simply print the task. I'll print the task. Perfect. Now let me clear it, and I will just run it. Okay, make sure you're calling this show task here in case if the user enters 3, right? Show task is getting called here. Now let me run it. Okay, I will add the task. I will add maybe learn Python, and again I will add one more time learn React. Okay, so I've added learn Python and learn React. Now I want to show what is inside the whatever task I have added to the list. So this time I will write 3 show task. Okay, so you can see here is your to-do list, learn Python and learn React. Now if I want to add one again, maybe learn Java, and you see Java has been added, and again I want to show, you can see here learn Python, learn React, learn Java. So these are all the 3 tasks I have added. Okay, so to exit from this function, what I want to do, I want to say 4, right? So when I hit 4, the program should exit, but this time it is still running, right? Still running. That is because you see we are using while true, right? So this will be true until and unless we manually interfere and break break this program, right? We want to break it here. When the user enters 4, we will break it out of the program. Okay, so now save it and let me clear. And now if you say 4, you can see exiting to do list by, and it actually got exited. Okay, so that's about adding and showing the task and exiting from the program. Now one more thing we want to handle is this: remove the task from this list. Okay, right now it is empty, and if I have added something to the list and I want to add, I want to remove it from the from the list, then I will press 2. Okay, now to handle this remove task feature, we will ask the user which task to delete, okay, which task to remove. Now I cannot just say enter the task name you want to remove, right? So I can I can come up with the number or choices. So enter 1 to delete this, enter 2 to delete this, like that. Okay, so we will do something like that. So first I will clear it up, and in the when the user enters 2, we will when the choices 2, remove task function will be called, and in the remove task function I will first want to show the tasks. Okay, show the task. Let me, okay, now I will remove this. Okay, so just want to show you something. 2, I will press 2, and you see no task in the list. Okay, I'll add 1 and go to shop, and one one task has been added, and I will now see the show task, and there is one task here. Now I want to delete the task. Okay, so I want to delete this task. I just cannot say enter the name of the task, right? So that's why what I'll do is I will give him I'll give this a number or a sequence number or an index. Okay, so based on that he can remove it. Why I don't want to ask the user to enter the actual title of the task? It's because the task name or the task title can be very long, and also the same task can exist to multiple times, right? So that's why I don't want to delete a task by the task name or the task title. I just want to delete a task by its number. Okay, so when we are working with the database, we have something called primary key, but we don't have any primary key here. But what we can do is we can play with it using the index. Okay, so first thing what I'm doing here, whenever the user chooses to delete something, okay, delete the task, if I write 2, and first I'm showing him the to-do list. Okay, so with this to-do list, I want to also show him the index number or the sequence number for this task. Okay, so that's why what I will do is I will use a function in Python that's called a enumerate. Okay, so what this enumerate function will do is it will allow you to access the index number and the value simultaneously. Okay, so for example, we have a task here, right? So to use the enumerate function, you simply say I, or you can also say index. Okay, so this will be the index of a items inside the list. Okay, so this will be enumerate. Okay, so enumerate tasks like this. Okay, now you can print I comma task. Okay, I comma task, but this enumerate will also take the starting point, but by default it starts, or the index starts from 0. Okay, so now if I end this and run it again, I will add the task test 1, add again test 2. Okay, so I will write 2 to remove the task, and you see here is your to-do list. Enter 0 to delete the test 1, enter 1 to delete the test 2. But you know what, entering this index number like this is not a good idea. It is not user friendly. That's why we want to start from 1 to 3. Okay, I want to start from 1 to 1. Okay, so by default enumerate gives the index 0, so that's why it is printing 0 here. Okay, but if you wanted to start from 1, simply say start is equal to 1. Okay, now it will show one task 1, I mean test 1 to test 2 like this. Okay, I will again terminate and to do list, enter the task, learn Python, and one task has been added. And again I will add another, learn React, 2 task has been added, and I will write 2 to remove the task. Before removing the task, it will actually say what to remove, right? So it should ask enter 1 to remove the learn Python, 2 to remove the learn React task. Okay, all right, so I hope that is clear. And now I want to continue with the remove task now. Okay, so before removing the task, I have shown how many or which tasks are there in the list, right? Because of course I want to see the task before I delete them, right? So now I will take a try block and take take the input from the user task number. Okay, so I'll do a type conversion here, integer, because whatever the user is entering, it will be converted to integer. In the input, I'm going to say enter the task number to remove. Enter the task number to remove. Okay, so removed. Okay, I will create a removed task a variable, and I'll say tasks dot. I will use pop function. Okay, so this pop function will take the index number of a task or index number of a list element. So whatever the user is entering is not the actual index, because we have added 1 here, right? We have added 1 here to start from 1, right? So he's going to enter 1, but the index of this learn Python is 0. So because we are starting from 1, we want to say task num -1. Okay, we will come back to the index 0, or whatever number he enter, we will minus it by 1. Okay, so that will become index, so that this pop function will execute. So this pop function will give you the removed task name or remove the task element, right? So that is going to be stored inside this remove task variable. Okay, so here I'll write f string task which task has been removed, right? So that task I'm printing removed successfully. All right, in the except block, okay, in the except we can get 2 types of error. One is index error and another one is value error. Okay, why it is index error? It's because you see, if the user enter 10, number 10, but there's only 1 or 2 items, right? So that will cause the index error because 10 does not exist. Also, value error is because what if the user enters some string, right? So in that case, it will give the value error. So that's why I'm handling both of these errors. I will simply say, in both of these scenarios, I will say invalid task number. Okay, invalid task number. Perfect. All right. So I will save it and just make sure if everything is good. Okay, adding is working and removing. So we're taking the task number to remove, and I hope you understood this, right? So this is because this pop function expects the index number, but whatever the user is entering is not the index. He is entering the index plus 1, because while showing the task, we are starting from 1, not from 0. So that's why we are decreasing this number by 1. So that will become the task number or the index. Okay, then it will be removed. And all right, let's clear it. Okay, so let me run it and we'll test it properly. So enter the choice. I will add 1 and enter the task will be learn Python. Okay, one task has been added, and again I will add another task, learn React. Another task has been added, and again I will add one more task, learn Java, and 3 has been added. And I want to show whatever the task exists right now, so I will simply write 3. Okay, so showing is also properly working. 1 2 3. Okay, so I will again add one more task, and I'll say learn JS. Okay, so now I will try to remove something. I will enter 2. So as soon as I hit 2, so it is coming up with all these list, which one I want to remove, right? Enter the task number to remove. So 1 2 3 4, I want to remove 2. Let's say I want to remove 2. I'll write 2. Okay, so you can see the task learn React. Okay, this one removed successfully. Now if I show, okay, pressing 3, and I have learn Python, learn Java, and learn JS is remaining. So finally I can just hit 4 to exit from the program. Okay, so this is how you manipulate the list and how you work with the real use cases. Okay, so if you have any doubts, feel free to ask me. Thank you.